Hi guys, so today I'm going to do kind of a mini tour around the yard and just show different spaces and the plants that I chose to use and how they're growing, and also my garden and how it's doing. And it's mostly going to be focused on the backyard because I'm working on a project in the front that I'm not quite ready to share yet. But I thought this would be a fun one to have to look back on so that I can see the progress and the changes that our yard takes on over time. So let's go take a look around the yard.
So I'm out on my deck. This is the back deck, and I thought I would share the plants that I have up here in containers. And the purple shade over here is Supertunia Bordeaux. It is such a pretty plant. And then the pink are Supertunia Vista Bubblegum. And then above the one on the stand is a container of Lobelia, and above that is a white container that has Creeping Jenny and a petunia that just came back from last year. So, and the Supertunias, I have one plant in each of those containers, and you can see how well they have done. I am very impressed with the Supertunias. They are so pretty. And down from the deck, if you have seen very many of my videos, then you are already familiar with this area. And most of this area is actually new this year. The back flower bed is new, the Paver Patio, and also this flower bed. They are all new this year, and I really like this space. The plants are doing fairly well for the amount of rain they've been subjected to this year. And you can see some of the leaves are a little bit yellow, but I'm hoping they all bounce back. So far so good, but there are a couple I'm a little concerned about, but that's how gardening goes. And yeah, I really like this little space. And directly across from this area is another flower bed next to a little outbuilding, and I'm just kind of experimenting right now, trying to figure out what plants like it here because it does get a lot of sun, but there's also some shade. So I'm trying out coleus, hostas, dianthus, salvia, and then in the raised bed portion is like an old water well pump that was at our first place, and we ended up getting it, and I turned it into this little flower bed, and it has daylilies, iris, and dianthus, just a variety of plants in that space. And then there is my little solar fountain that I made, and if you haven't seen that video, it is on my channel, and the sun's not hitting it right now. It is a solar fountain, but it will be soon. I love that little thing, so if you haven't seen the video to that, check it out. Let's go check out the garden. And taking a look at the garden, you can see I have a pumpkin growing over here, and I'll just let it trail on the ground. And then I have zinnias planted along the front, and they are much farther along on this side, but this side is kind of a lower spot, and after I had planted the seeds, we got a lot of rain, kind of washed the seeds out on this side, so I had to redo that side. So they are playing catch up, but I think they are doing very well. And then check out these flower pots. This one is doing very well, and this one not so much. The plants, I got it 2 different times, and so they were by 2 different people. The one over here is a Proven Winners, and this one was in a nursery can. So I'm not sure if that could have something to do with it, but I also know the potting soil is different because the one that I've been using all summer is in this one, and I ran out, and I picked up a random one for this one, so that might be the problem. I'm just not sure because the plants look fine. They're just not growing near as quickly. They get the same amount of water, fertilizer, and all that, so I really kind of think it's the soil. So I was wondering about maybe repotting it. I don't know. What do you think? Should I repot it or just give it some more time? In the first bed, I have early girl tomatoes, and as you can see, they are loaded up, doing very well. But I have got to come up with something better to stake these tomatoes. Stakes are just too short, they're too flimsy, and they pretty much flop over in a breeze. So I've got to come up with something better for next year. And for this year, I did pick up a steel stake or metal stake, and then a bamboo one that I had. I'm using them to kind of reinforce the flimsy ones, and that's working a lot better. It's definitely an improvement, but it is not ideal. So if you have any ideas or suggestions, what works for you, please let me know. The bed behind that is my squash, and I have butter squash. There are some growing there, and then I also have Black Beauty zucchini. You can see, yeah, I need to come out here and pick some. And I have my Walla onions, which are doing very well. And then in this bed I have a variety of bell peppers and Roma tomatoes, and same story, I've got to come up with something better for staking them. You can see the zinnias growing on this side of the fence, and then my pumpkin is trailing along the ground. I do have some on the other side as well, and then I have a galvanized container in the center that has jalapenos. And so that is a look at the garden in July 2019, and I do have plans to expand this space. I want to at least double it next year, and it's doing so well. This was kind of an experiment for me this year, and since it's doing so well, I do want to at least have double the amount of beds. And I thought I would show you a quick update on my pallet planters that I made and the plants and how well they're doing. I'm really pleased with how they look and how well the plants are growing in them. And if you're curious to see how I made these planters, I just used old pallets, and I do have a video on my channel. This video is mostly about the backyard, but let's go take a look at my planters on my rustic fence and check it out down here. And this area around the cedar trees, kind of an experimental area. I'm thinking about putting in a flower bed there, and I just popped in some different coleus and iris. And then let's look at the planters on the fence. They are doing really well. I'm really pleased with them, and they have been easy to take care of so far, so I am really happy with how they are doing. And this is my rustic flower bed. It has a large rock, an old wagon wheel, an antique wheelbarrow. It's just a really fun one for me. So I think I will just share a few more pictures of plants around my yard, and that will be it for this video. And if you have any ideas on staking tomatoes, please let me know, and thanks for watching. This one is doing very well, and this one not so much.